Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Ammar, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to be joined by Jarren Johnson, the co-founder and CEO of Parable Growth Agency, a marketing and sales growth firm helping businesses scale through powerful storytelling and data-driven strategies. Jarren, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Excited to be here.
I'm excited to dive in. I always like to start from the beginning. So take me back to before you started Parable Growth Agency. What were you doing before? And then what really motivated you to start the company?
Yeah, that's a great question. For the last 2.5 years, I was leading a sales team for an advertising agency out of Tampa. They specialize in the automotive space. And so for a decade, right, sales, marketing experience. And there were a couple guys that God had brought into my family's life a couple years ago, or several years ago. And we realized that a lot of our skills, our experiences, right, around marketing, around sales, around operations, they just mesh. They mesh together well. And we had a heart for helping business owners, specifically small business owners. And last year we launched Parable Growth Agency. It was funny because initially it was actually designed to be a marketing agency. I had ran a small digital company like a couple of years after Facebook advertising launch back when, and ran that for a few years. So my idea was I'm just going to go back and I'm going to run that play again, but with better tools, better processes. Right? We're big fans of the story brand framework from Don
Nice.
Miller and his group there, and so we get this thing started. It probably wasn't 3 months in, we were looking at each other and going, at the rate that AI is moving, we actually stand in a position where before this thing's even off the ground, we could literally be obsolete.
That's
And so
crazy.
that's exactly, I'm sure you've seen that with a lot of the other people that you've talked to, that you start to get a sense of it's going to be bigger, it's going to be faster than what we're expecting. And back in January, we really retooled. So went back and found any certification I could find on AI implementation, specifically we always keep small businesses in mind. And so over the last year, we've retooled to be able to do that. And so our focus is helping drive AI adoption, or specifically around the sales and marketing channels, but being able to do that for small, mid-sized businesses.
I love that. So walk me through your ideal customer. Is there any specific industry vertical that you like to focus on?
Yeah, so not specifically a narrow vertical, but the more complicated the sell, the better. If it's a really technical product, if it's a really complicated sales cycle, we actually stand to bring more impact in. And so
Mm.
our ICP, we love working with founders who are either technical founders or they don't have a sales background. They're highly skilled. We even work with a lot of service-based companies that don't have a product they're selling, but they have a founder that is very skilled in what they do. A lot of them are even very charismatic, like they're great at selling what they do. But if you don't have a formal sales background and you don't have a documented process, it's really hard to scale a sales team. It's really hard to scale a marketing team
Yeah.
because you're selling just on your experience alone. And plus, you're probably very well connected in your industry as well. You can't transfer, like connections don't transfer that way. Experience doesn't transfer that way. And so those are the founders we really stand to come alongside, or ones that are really skilled in what they do, or they have a really technical product they've created, especially if they're still the ones leading their sales team. They don't have a lot of layers between them and the men and women on the ground making it happen day in and day out. Those are really ideal customers for us to work with.
Yeah, I like that a lot because they need help. They're
Yeah.
in desperate need of help, whether they know it or they don't.
Yeah.
It's marketing and sales is the lifeblood of any business. So
Mhm.
walk me through, what does your core offering look like? What
Mhm.
does it actually look like to work with Parable Growth Agency?
Yeah, really, where we start at is we've got to get the basics down first. That's where, and so if the conversation started out on marketing or sales, it looks very similar. But the first things first is we have to get your messaging right. And so, from a marketing standpoint, it might be getting your brand profile created. It might be really understanding like the core of that story that you're telling. On the sales side, is getting your sales scripts down. You'd be shocked. Actually, probably a guy that sits in your seat that talks to a lot of business owners, you probably wouldn't be shocked. Maybe some of the listeners would be, of the number of businesses that don't really have firm like sales copy. Like they don't have their sales messaging really dialed. And so that's where we start. And then from there, we're going to be training either a custom GPT or some other tools on that messaging to ride shotgun, be that ongoing sales trainer, sales development agent in their life that's also helping write follow-ups, also helping create, whether it's pieces of sales collateral or pieces pieces of marketing copy that needs to be deployed. And so that's really where that's our core offer, is to really create that messaging, train AI
Mhm.
custom GPTs on that, and then walk alongside them long term to implement those and actually go ongoing training for their sales and marketing teams.
Okay, powerful, powerful. And
Yeah.
then what does the business model look like? So for you, is it a monthly retainer? Is it a one-time fee and you work together for 3 months, 6 months? What does that look
Mhm. Yeah, so we have the DIY version, right? So we have a lot of resources we've created to where businesses that are at that point where the founder still wants to run with things on their own. We can support that. We also have kind of a done with you option. That's personally that's my favorite because I love being able to actually work hand in hand and kind of coach business owners and coach salespeople. But then we also do have an option that's really a done for you. You know, we're able
like?
to come in and be that kind of fractional VP of sales or that fractional VP of marketing for companies that need that as well. And so just depending on the level of it's really, as a business owner, are you in a place in your business where you have more time than money, or are you in a place where you have more money than time? And depending on where they're at in the growth is usually what we'll find one of those three avenues better for them.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. I'm curious for you, when you think of scale, when it comes to a fulfillment standpoint, which
Yeah.
of these three are you really looking to scale? Because it sounds like the done for you can only take on, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds
Mhm.
like you
Mhm.
can, given the nature of fractional work, you can't take on a ridiculous amount of clients. Done with you is probably the most scalable and the most profitable out of these three, but you
Mhm.
correct me if I'm wrong.
That's really insightful. That is the one that we try and not just from a yes from a scalability from a profitability standpoint. If I'm honest, I think that really aligns even with me and the two partners that I've got in the business. That really aligns with our calling better as well, to actually be able to be that ongoing coach, that ongoing consultant that these business owners are relying on. Yeah, for sure. That middle option, that is what I'm selling going into most conversations, unless there's something going on that dramatically steers it another way.
Yeah. I like that. Now, when it comes to client acquisition, so when you're looking to bring
Mhm.
on more customers into your agency, what are you
Mhm.
doing from a lead generation and marketing front?
Yeah, our biggest focus is we try to give away as much information for free as we possibly can. I think at this point, information is the currency of the internet at this point, and it's not just a matter of having good ideas, but are they actionable? And so we give away a lot of guides, we create a lot of content where we want to give that away for free. So that's marketing side is that lead gen piece for us. On sales, it's the classic. It's cold calling, right? It's getting in front of
Oh,
business
wow.
owners that are aligned, especially with some of the clients that we've helped, being able to get on the phone with businesses that are like them in order for us to be able to duplicate those results. So those are the two channels for us right now that has been the biggest driver. And we're fortunate at this point in the business that the amount of referrals that we get as well. That's always everybody loves word of mouth is probably it's the least predictable in our opinion. That's why a lot of the business owners we work with, right? Everybody loves talking about their referral game, loves talking about word of mouth, but if we can build these other channels that are a little bit more predictable, you're just going to increase your word of mouth. So you're just going to have more people saying great things about you. But we have been really blessed from that standpoint as well.
Yeah, very interesting. So with the content and the lead magnets, where do you post that?
Yes, so we have those. They're hosted on our website, and then we're usually LinkedIn. That's our number one channel. We kind of live on LinkedIn. I know Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. They definitely have their pieces of the market out
Yeah,
there. But I'm actually just telling myself I'm not a big social media guy overall. But I get down with LinkedIn. But that's really our big
yeah,
driver for the business as far as like where we promoting this content out there for
yeah,
sure.
that makes perfect sense. I hate social media personally, but it's you got to do what you got to do kind of thing.
For sure, it's the only thing that nobody wants to be on, and we're all on
For
all the
sure,
time. So
for sure. You're one of the very first people in a long time that said cold calling. So I'm
mhm.
actually very intrigued by that. Have you ever thought about running ads, doing cold email, like anything else aside from cold calling? I'm curious why you went that route first.
So I think that is, especially for the last 2.5 years, that is where in my previous role we saw the most success. It was, I don't know if there's a human being out there that loves to cold call, but it's one of those things like once you get through that barrier, it is such an unlock because it puts things in your control in a way that cold email just doesn't, in a way that running lead gen ads, and we're all for those, right? I'm telling my clients to do that. We're doing it ourselves. We're big believers in that as well. But at the end of the day, it is a lot easier to make somebody's phone ring than to make your own phone ring. And so when we can get in front of those, that's why cold calling has been like once over the last few years of getting through that barrier, we literally spent time cold calling dealers. I'm calling either general managers of dealerships or I'm calling dealer principals. And you get kicked in the teeth a lot that way, but you learn a lot and you learn really fast. And I think that when you understand your own strengths, understand your own weaknesses, and when you realize, hey,
Mhm.
cold calling is still an effective it's the thing everybody thinks is dead, everybody thinks is old school, everybody thinks it's just not at this point. It is cold calling is alive and for sure.
So you do run ads yourself and do cold email, you said?
Mhm.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah.
What did the funnels look like for the ads that you run?
So we usually are starting with obviously we'll start with a landing page, which is where we're driving everybody to, whether it's what
And
the
then I
ads are
mean,
driving to or what the yeah.
sorry, for your company, when you're looking to, do you run ads for your company to bring in more clients? Do you know what I
So
mean?
for the oh okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. So for the agency, we are currently not. No, we're not
Okay,
running, we don't have any live ads like for the agency right now.
got
No. Yeah.
got it, got it. Is there any particular reason why? It's an interesting thing because I've talked to hundreds of marketing agencies. We've worked with
Mhm.
over 4,000 at this point. It's a very common thing. Marketing agencies don't run ads for themselves for whatever reason. I'm curious for you, why is that?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think it is once we have our offers to where they are a little bit easier to scale, that's what
Mhm.
will make more sense. Right now, we're so in the trenches with a lot of the people that we're working with because we're trying to solve a lot of the problems that we're solving for our clients. They haven't been solved before because these tools that are available now, we're able to AI tools are changing and we're having to adapt so quickly. We're at this stage in our business, like we are more hands-on with clients than we'll probably ever be, and so to run ads and feel that hasn't been a priority for us at this point. Very soon, like this calendar year soon, we plan on doing that. But at this stage in the business, it just hasn't made sense.
So it's a fulfillment really bottleneck right now?
I would say it could be. I think that is if we have one, I think that's definitely it for sure.
Okay. What do
I
you
say if
think?
we have one, every business has their bottleneck, right? So that's definitely
Yeah,
definitely
yeah, yeah.
there. Yeah.
No need to be humble. Everybody's got something they're working with,
Yeah,
they're
for
working on.
sure.
Okay, very cool. What do you think the missing pieces to being able to start running ads and really scaling this thing?
That's a great question. I would say probably getting our fulfillment down and a little bit more systematized is
Mhm.
probably at this stage where as a early for any agency, right? You realize like you're going to solve the problem that are at hand. And so there's a lot of things like I said that we're solving and we're solving for the first time. And so a
Mhm.
lot of that time is being spent in that part of fulfillment. We have a lot of plays, what we've talked about, our core offers, those are great, but every single time, like I think we're probably at least 80% retention right now, if not a little bit higher, that once that core offering is built and done, now we're still working with them long term on really custom projects. And so a lot of our like growth has been growth within the accounts that we're working with. And getting that's been where kind of that the bottleneck on initial fulfillment, like we're talking about those services that I listed off to you earlier in the conversation, we've got that down. That's our bread and butter. That's the play that we run. And over 80% of the time that's led to, okay, how do we work with you now? How do we keep this going? How do we keep and that's where we're getting more of that. I would say boutique. What's like bespoke, kind of that custom suit, so to speak, or that custom offering that we're putting together. You folks finding a way to scale that. That's been the hard thing because you don't want to turn down business from people that you've
Yeah,
already done business with and to be able to continue solving new challenges for them. That's where our business. That's where we've seen the growth from, and finding a way to scale that is
that,
that's the bottleneck right now. Yeah, not initial fulfillment.
that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for
Yeah.
clearing that up. This is just random idea. Have you ever thought about like putting a little bit more energy into getting more clients on the front end to build up more cash flow and then use that cash flow to hire people that can fulfill on the stuff on the back end, like true
Mhm.
experts in AI,
Mhm.
web development, all whatever the case is that they need, etc. Is that
Yeah.
something you've ever thought about? I think that could work potentially.
Yeah, for sure. I think that is what that next stage of growth looks like for us. I think that is where we're almost to our year mark. at this point. And I think that kind of look as we're looking to the future and go, okay, what does this next phase for Parable look like? You've described it, right? That is it. Being able to scale those things, being able to bring in experts for each of those things that we are having to be hands-on with, bringing in one person to do each of those pieces and being able to scale. I don't think there's any way to scale other. I think that is as many things as we would love to automate things like that. You've got to have the right people leading in those areas,
Yeah.
which is along at the same time why you're trying to automate those things as well. So yeah, for sure, that is the next stage for Parable for sure.
Nice. What are your goals? So when you think over the next 1, 2 years, what are
Mhm.
some milestones, targets, revenue, or otherwise that you're really aiming towards?
Yeah, for sure. I think that we could, within the next year, would love to be at that $1 million mark
Nice.
within the 12 months. From that, after that point, I don't know that we have formalized a goal past that, but to be able to be with the space, with the tools that are available for automation at this point, I don't think there's any reason why within the next 2 years we couldn't be a $5 million company. I
Yeah.
think that we would have to, and I'm not saying that would be easy. That's the easiest thing to do, right? You're creating content and being like, oh, here's how you can scale your agency in 2 years and hit the $5 million mark. But that's what's in our in the windshield for us at Parable for sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like that. I like that. I wish you the best of luck, man.
yeah,
That's
for sure.
dream big. Dream big. That's what it's all about. What is the best
Absolutely.
way for people to reach out to you to work with you?
Yeah. You can go to parablegrowthagency.com. You can book a free call with us right there from our site. LinkedIn, like I said, that's where I live. If I'm not working, I spend a lot of time there. So I'm quick to see messages and would love for it. Reach me on there. Searching Jarren Johnson. There's only a couple of us there. And yeah, would love to get in contact.
Awesome. Any final words before we wrap up?
I think that if businesses are looking to, every business is worried about right now about falling behind in AI, right? That's the driving motivator for a lot of businesses. This idea that you don't want to fall behind the curve, things like that. What we are finding with 90% of the small businesses that we talk to, the basic processes aren't there. And so you're not going to fall behind. If I could tell anybody listening right now, you're not going to fall behind the AI curve because a new tool came out that you didn't take advantage of, you didn't jump on quick enough. It's going to be because you don't have your processes built out. You don't have your SOPs built out. You don't have your messaging clear. You don't have things like CRMs in place where all of your customer data is living and things. All of these tools need that type of information to run on and to be able to, you can't automate something that doesn't exist, and we can't make something better, and we can't enrich data that doesn't exist. And so that would be my encouragement. If you're a small business owner listening and you're worried that anxiety is rising up in you about AI adoption, where are we missing in the fundamentals? That's where we'll get left behind at. That'd be my closing thought.
I love that. That is
Yeah.
powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that because I think it's so important. Don't get shiny object syndrome. Focus on the basics. And I love what you're saying is you're going to the root cause. Let's lay down a very solid foundation for us to build this huge business. Parablegrowthagency.com, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I love
Absolutely. Mark, thank you
that.
so much, man. Yeah.
Anytime, anytime. So that wraps up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. To our listeners, again, if you enjoyed this episode, go to parablegrowthagency.com. You can follow Jarren Johnson on LinkedIn, and that's parablegrowthagency.com. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with our team and discover how we went from zero to $30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on climbing.